I'm Teisha Bader with Shalom TV's news update for Monday, March the 11th, 2013. The Jerusalem Post reports that coalition talks in Israel have picked up again, citing an Israel radio report that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Beit HaYehudi leader Naftali Bennett, and Yesh Atid leader Yair Lapid restarted talks this evening after a short break. As you may have seen on IBA News, the three had been in talks earlier today, where they were also joined by former Foreign Affairs Minister and Yisrael Beitenu head Avigdor Lieberman. In another political development, Labor Party leader Sheli Yachimovich said at a faction meeting today that she would reconsider entering the government if there was significant diplomatic progress during U.S. President Barack Obama's upcoming trip to Israel next week, saying Labor would possibly move away from the, quote, deadlock and move towards an agreement to join the government. Sources in the Likud party also said that the parties did reach an agreement that the next government will have only 20 ministers, not including Netanyahu and Lieberman, and 8 deputy ministers, which is a significant reduction. The size of the cabinet and Lapid's demand for its reduction was one of the issues on the table during the talks. It is predicted that a new coalition will be formed and sworn in by the end of the week. Ynet reports that the United Nations Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights issued a report last week that the death of an 11-month-old baby in Gaza during Israel's Operation Pillar of Defense last November was most likely caused by a Palestinian rocket and not an Israeli airstrike. Israel had been blamed for the death of Omar Jihad al-Mishrawi, who was the infant son of a BBC Arabic journalist. The UN report stated that the death was caused by, quote, what appeared to be a Palestinian rocket that fell short of Israel. 3 suspected Islamic militants were placed under formal investigation in southern France today after it appeared they were planning an attack in the coming days, coinciding with the anniversary of the deadly attacks in Toulouse last March. The 3 were taken in for questioning last week. Police found weapons and explosives at the home of one of the suspects in a town near Marseille and intercepted communications between the men that suggested they were close to taking action. France has been on high alert for any homegrown militant activity since last year's shootings when Mohamed Merah gunned down a rabbi and 3 children at the Ozar HaTorah school in Toulouse. Merah also shot and killed 3 paratroopers in separate incidents. French prosecutor Francois Molins said of the 3 placed under investigation today that, quote, it was clear they were training themselves in making explosives based on a jihadist radicalization, a glorification of Mohamed Merah, and an affirmed desire to go into action. A town in northern Spain is preparing for its first Passover Seder in over 500 years. When Passover begins at sundown on March the 25th, the town of Ribadavia will hold its first Seder since 1492. The historic Seder is part of a project to increase tourism to the town and breathe new life into its old Jewish quarter. Ribadavia, like many other Spanish cities, had a significant Jewish population prior to the Spanish Inquisition. The festive holiday meal is being organized by the municipality's tourism department in partnership with the Center for Medieval Studies, a Ribadavia-based association which researches the history of Iberian Jews prior to their expulsion during the Spanish Inquisition. Well, social media is already playing a special role in President Obama's upcoming trip to Israel next week. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office launched an app yesterday, allowing people to follow along with the presidential visit in real time. The app, which is available through Israel's Apple Store, is currently in Hebrew and English, but Ynet reported it will also be available soon in Arabic. The app will be particularly useful to journalists covering the visit and also allow Israelis to receive real-time updates and video streaming. And Facebook is where Israeli citizens can go to enter to win a seat at the president's speech in Israel. The U.S. Embassy in Israel announced the contest for 20 seats to the Obama speech, which will take place at Jerusalem's International Convention Center, Binyanei Ha'umah. And finally today, the Times of Israel reports that legendary singer Barbra Streisand will be performing in Israel this summer in honor of President Shimon Peres. Citing a report by Israeli website Mako, Times of Israel said that Streisand will sing at the opening ceremony of Peres' annual presidential conference on June the 18th, which will also honor his upcoming 90th birthday, which is in August. While she's visited the country many times, the June event would mark Streisand's first official performance in Israel. And that's Shalom TV's news update for Monday, March the 11th, 2013. I'm Teisha Bader.